Welcome to another OU Insider and Advisor Sooners YouTube Live powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe. We hope everybody is having a happy Thanksgiving week. It's going to be a fun week. Oklahoma, LSU, lots of visits taking place. Oklahoma working to get into the college football playoffs. On top of that, Brent Venables pleading to the fan base, show up, show out, be loud. It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a fun YouTube and X Live. And we can't wait to get and talk to all you guys. But before we do all that, we have to thank our sponsors. Before we do that, though, I want to remind everybody, if you have questions for us, all you have to do is, doesn't matter what it is, in the live, in the chat, all you have to do is kind of give 99 cents or whatever. It pops up to the top of the board because it's really fast when you guys are going and talking and doing all that. We can't keep up with it. All it does is pin your question up to the top and allows us to get to your question. So I want to get that out there to you guys first and foremost. So make sure you guys do that. We can't wait to answer your questions as well. But Parker, let's thank our sponsors.
Yes, indeed. Riverwind Casino, folks, is our presenting sponsor. You know where it's at, right there off I-35 and Highway 9. All the construction is now done on that exit, by the way, which is fantastic. Makes the whole experience much more seamless. But Riverwind has been the OKC area's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now. Almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. Shout out to our friends at Jana King, a proud partner of OU Athletics and the greatest team to ever clean, delivering spotless results from stadiums to any size business across the country. So check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janiking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, folks, a word from Brunt Workwear. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last, and if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was BS, though, so they built tough boots that feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet, because people out there doing the real work, as so many of you do, shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. These are no doubt the most comfortable boots I've ever worn, and they feel comfortable right out of the box. No long, painful break-in like all those other brands, but they're not just comfortable. They're built to perform. So if you're looking for the perfect gift for the hardworking man in your life, or maybe even yourself, get him something from Brunt. Their boots and apparel are something he'll actually use and keep him comfortable all day on the job. With temps dropping and the holidays coming up, it's time to treat yourself or the hardworking man in your life to real comfort. Skip the throwaway gifts and get him something built to last. Brunt Workwear. Our listeners get $10 off their entire order with code OU Insider at checkout. That's bruntworkwear.com and use code OU Insider. Order today and let them know you heard about them here on the show.
All right. Hey, if I sound like I'm not on a mic, I am. The issue is I'm in an empty house that's being refurbished across the street from my aunt's house right now, where everybody else is out. There's probably 40 family members over there. It's both their homes. I chose the empty home because there's zero chance it would be quiet at all when there's 40 family members. I think everybody kind of understands that. It's chaotic in our house with little kids running around and adults drinking beverages that make them a little bit louder than they normally are. So yes, that is the issue. So I apologize if I sound like I'm not on a mic. I 100% am. So anyways, Parker. All right. First and foremost, any thoughts on the college football players? Are you worried about Oklahoma not getting home field advantage? Because it feels like there's a possibility that could happen depending on how a few things shake out this weekend.
It would have to be the absolute worst case disaster scenario for Oklahoma not to host a playoff game, provided they take care of business this weekend. Now, I will say this. there was conversation for quite a while about Oklahoma being able to get in even at 9-3. It doesn't feel like Oklahoma's going to be able to get in at 9-3. It doesn't necessarily feel like this is a game. Oh, regardless of whether or not you win, you're in the 12-team field. No, like this is a must-win game for Oklahoma, and it's a game that they should win, right? They're better than LSU. They're more consistent than LSU. But as far as playoff seeding, man, as far as where Oklahoma falls in the picture, should they get past the Tigers this weekend, I don't really know, man. It's hard to say right now where
Yeah.
they would wind up, but I will say this. I'm not sure it matters for this team. If they wind up hosting, great. If not, we know nothing else about this Oklahoma Sooners football team here in 2025, is that they are absolutely 1,000% undaunted going on the road. They're undefeated in true
Yeah.
road games and conference play. So, regardless of where things fall for this team, I'm going to be more looking at the matchup as opposed to whether or not they wind up hosting or traveling or whatever that looks like. Like to me, Notre Dame is not really a matchup I love for Oklahoma, but obviously you pit them against a team like I think they would get Ole Miss if given Ole Miss a second time around. I think the Sooners would get the better of the Rebels. I like the way they match up with Oregon. Obviously, like the way they match up with Alabama uh, and the G5 candidate. I think Oklahoma is obviously going to have the upper hand there. So some matchups you like, some you don't. But in terms of whether or not this team is playing on their home field, I expect that they will be. But in the end, I'm really not convinced that that matters for this group and their identity.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. There's some people that feel like Notre Dame is going to be an issue for Oklahoma. I tend to feel like what Oklahoma's good at defensively, that's what Notre Dame kind of leans on with their offense. They do have one of the better running backs in the country, but Oklahoma faced the leading rusher in all of college football last week and shut him down to a grand total of, I believe, 57 yards. So look, I'm done doubting Oklahoma. I did pick them to win the last 3 games, but when I say doubting, I'm done doubting. I'm done picking them with trepidation. Unless they're playing Ohio State, which they're going to if they win the first round of the playoffs, they beat LSU, they win the first round of the playoffs. That's exactly who they're going to play as things stand today. No, there's going to be some trepidation there because Ohio State is freaking good. So, yeah, I think that's where I stand. I do know we have a super chat, so we
We
probably
do.
want to get to that.
Yes, a couple of them. And then, folks, if you're
And it
having
just says boom.
issues, if you're having issues with the stream, try refreshing your page because some of you, it seems things are going just fine for. On our end, from everything I can tell, watching the stream down here on my corner monitor, uh, it looks like everything's going out okay on my end. So try refreshing the page. That happens sometimes, just an individualized experience that for whatever reason goes awry due to technological reasons beyond our control. But refresh the page if you're having issues. Our first super chat of the day comes from Cole Birdwell. Toss us $2. Thank you, Cole. Next 3 commits. Shout out Jack Bowen. I'll tell you, man, Oklahoma could have a bunch of commits here in the next couple of weeks. A bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not just talking 2026
It's gonna
kids
get
either,
fun.
because you got Juju Johnson committing on December 1st. You got Elijah Harmon committing on December 7th. Things look really good for Oklahoma with both of those guys. 2 California blue chippers in the 27 class. That would push Oklahoma, if they were able to land those 2, that would push them to double-digit commits in the 27 cycle before the end of calendar year 2025, mind you. That would help them establish a stranglehold on the distinction of having the number 1 class in 2027. And also the way that they have the potential to close here down the stretch over the next week in 2026. Man, there could be some really impressive stuff that happens on the trail for Oklahoma between now and signing day. 1 week from right now, we will be live on air with the annual OU Insider Signing Day special, which is the magnum opus for us. It's the show that we look forward to all year round. There's going to be a bunch of interviews. We're going to go through the signing class player by player and discuss each guy that the Sooners sign next Wednesday. We're going to talk to a bunch of the signees. It's going to be a 3-hour show. We're going to be live from Campus Corner. I'm sorry, not Campus Corner, Coach's Corner, which is right on Lindsay Street there next to campus. And it's going to be a heck of a time. But in the week that remains until signing day and until the OU Insider Signing Day special, there's a lot of unfinished business for Oklahoma. A lot of it.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the more intriguing. And Parker, you kind of want to big picture this from a not even the next week or two. Let's move forward a month from now. By the time the second week of January rolls around, I think there is a distinct possibility, and I'm not talking transfer portal stuff because that's so far. We don't even know what the transfer portal is going to look like, but you can guarantee Oklahoma is going to make a big splash there as well, the way they're doing things. But there is a distinct possibility that Oklahoma in 2027 could have close to 12, 13, 14 commits by that point. And it is not, everybody wants to say, well, that's impossible. No, it's not. And well, think about it. Are you saying it is impossible?
I'm just wondering who is saying it's impossible.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to
I was
me.
about to say
You know,
it's not only possible, it's very, very likely. And I think based on the
yes.
current steam that Oklahoma has in the 2027 cycle, I don't think anybody struggles to believe that.
Well, not only that, there's guys that are set up that, some people tend to forget, Parker, that there are certain players that have announced their commitment dates maybe a month or so ago, maybe even a couple weeks ago. But that gets lost sometimes with everything else that's going on with the fan base. It's not their job to keep up with that. That's ours. So they tend to forget that type of stuff. Look, this is going to be one of the funnest, probably next 2 months Oklahoma's had on the recruiting trail. You had the transfer portal in this. You had the playoffs, Parker. Look, obviously, as long as Oklahoma can handle their business on Saturday. And this could be probably the funnest time Oklahoma's had as a fan base since 2021, 2020. Probably the Caleb Williams time when all the Sooner Summit and all that stuff was happening, when they were the lone program that was actually out doing big things during COVID. I think, when is the last time it's been this fast paced, not just for one class, but for two classes? I can't remember. That's been a long time. I've been doing this a long time, Parker.
It's hard to come up with a reasonable parallel, especially for what Oklahoma is doing in 2027.
It's insane.
I mean, they're cleaning up in the 2027 class. And yeah, you got Juju Johnson, you got Elijah Harmon on the horizon, like within the next 2 weeks that Oklahoma's trending very, very nicely to add. But it doesn't stop with those two guys. Like, what about Taven Epps? What about Jamison Roberts, the newly offered quarterback that Oklahoma established really, really strong early standing with? Like, it's the thing about it is, Brandon, you get this many guys locked in this early, things start rolling faster and faster like a snowball down a hill because spots become limited and you can put the heat on guys. You can go to them and say, hey, we only got one spot left for this position right here. Or, hey, man, like you're our guy. We want you. If you don't want to jump on board, we got this other guy that's ready and waiting to jump on board. So if you want to be a part of what we're building at Oklahoma, now's the time. Like, you can start to create a little bit of a crunch, and then you might look up and by the time official visits roll around, there might be precious little work left to do for Oklahoma at that point. They might be in the neighborhood of 2022 commits, that is 2021, 22 ish.
Yeah, this is The crazy part is like it could be look business wise. I mean, it's great when all this is happening for us. Like this is fun. It's great. Keeps everybody building momentum. Everybody's happy. But it can also come to a halt really fast when they fill up their class really quickly, to where now people are going, okay, now what's left to do? But I think this staff is aggressive enough that I could see them starting to fill up the 28 class fairly quickly. On top of that, um, it wouldn't shock me, Parker, just because it feels like this is the most organized I've seen Oklahoma in ever.
Mm-hmm. And
they know what they want to do. They know the targets they want to go after. They have a front office that is just boom, 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 boom. It's awesome.
this front office is putting in serious work.
Do we have any more super chats?
Yeah, we do have some more super chats. First thing though, before we go any further, I want like somebody in the chat said, "Really sucks that OU missed out on Messiah Mickens." The reason OU quote unquote missed out on Messiah Mickens was because all they did earlier this week was go and flip Jonathan Hatton from Texas A&M, a top 5 running back in the entire 2026 cycle. Oklahoma didn't miss out on Messiah Mickens. Oklahoma no longer had need for Messiah Mickens.
Yeah. After National Signing Day, there's a story behind that, because it's much more nuanced. Parker put it out there to you guys, but it's very nuanced on how all that went down and what could have went down had a few other things not taken place. So that's a story for the National Signing Day tell-all on OU Insider VIP. And it's no offense to anybody, but until the ink's dry, zero chance anybody ever talks about the nuanced little things that happen behind the scenes on that thing, because it was interesting. Very interesting.
We got a $20 super chat from Easy Money 1464 who just said boomer. Thank you, sir. T-Town Sooner give us $5 and asked, who is y'all's defensive MVP this year so far? Mine is Taylor Wine, just off at Impact. Also, has Wine redeemed all that Buki did to tarnish number 44? Yes, all that and then some. and I agree wholeheartedly with you. Like, to me, the defensive MVP is Taylor Wine. And maybe it's a different conversation if R. Mason Thomas had been available for the last 2 games and change, dating back to the first quarter of the game in Neyland on the 1st of November. But in terms of just not only overall impact, but just the consistency of the impact that you feel from him, the answer is absolutely Taylor Wine in my mind. He's playing on an all SEC level and has been all year.
Yeah, you're going to take Taylor Wine. It's probably the right answer. Kip Lewis, I would say, is up there. Played out of his gourd this year. I think he's up there. I'm honestly going to say, I don't know, like, is it crazy the way that Peyton Bowen's been playing this year to even have him in that conversation? He's made some plays that have absolutely changed the fabric of the Tennessee game. Not just the interception, but let's go back to the 3rd and I think it was 3rd and 6, where he just absolutely pelted the wide receiver going across the middle and dislodged the ball. And it was a clean hit and forced them, as they were driving, it kind of shifted a lot of the momentum that they were gaining back into Oklahoma's favor at that point. So, it's obviously Taylor Wine, but I would say Kip Lewis and Peyton Bowen have a say in that, like at least in the conversation for that. Maybe I'm crazy.
Another $10 from Easy Money 1464 who said, any good news regarding injuries? X-Rob feeling better. I mean, what do you consider good news? Like, the good news is you're going to get R. Mason Thomas back for the college football playoff. He's in all likelihood not going to play this weekend, but he will play in the college football playoff. He's going to be back. He's going to be ready. And he'll be hungry after missing 3, almost 4 entire football games, which is not something that's been commonplace for him over the course of his career at Oklahoma. So There's going to be some unfinished business for our Mason Thomas over the course of whatever this stretch run looks like for Oklahoma. Uh, Gentry Williams obviously not going to play this weekend either. He may be done for the year. We'll see. But I think the big current news, and we've discussed it over on OU Insider, is that Jake Michaela's status for this weekend's game is very much in doubt. And you can head to OUinsider.com for the specifics on that situation. But the interesting predicament there for Oklahoma is that if you don't have Jake Michaela available, obviously Troy Everett suffered a season-ending injury back in September. And so your emergency option at center is Febechi Wiwu, who started all 24 games of his Oklahoma career at right guard. And he would be sliding over and playing center on senior day. What you would probably see in conjunction with that is Ryan Fojay at right guard. So the pieces would shift a little bit, but that enables Oklahoma to stop playing right tackle roulette with Fojay and Simmons. They can have them both on the field, Fojay at right guard, Derek Simmons at right tackle. And then hopefully Febechi Wiwu can hold his own at center. I mean, I think the thing you most worry about with a guy like that is not whether or not he can block, not whether or not he can function in the role, because Febechi Wiwu is reliable as they come for Oklahoma up front. But I think the bigger question is, can he snap consistently? Or are you going to have snap issues? Because that can create all sorts of problems for your offense. But as long as he can snap consistently and effectively, Oklahoma should be fine up front. And that's assuming that's in a world where Michaela doesn't play. There's still a chance he does. He's questionable as of tonight.
This offense doesn't need any more questionable things that, whether it's snap or I don't know, Parker. Like, it doesn't need any more things trying to hold it back than it already has. They need just to be synchronized, everything be the synergy needs to come back together like they had it pre thumb surgery. But it's not. It's not. And I think this Michaela issue, I don't know, do we really want to say what it is? But
no, we can leave that.
No, I know, but like the issue at hand with Jake Michaela, God, I mean, you just can't get a freaking break, Parker. Like, nobody can get a break on the offensive side of the ball. Things are starting to get well with the running game. Well, not only does Xavier Robinson have one sprained knee, he sprained the other one last game. So, like, it's like you can't catch a freaking break. You can't catch a break. I will say this. They are getting Heath Ozida's getting closer to coming back. Jacob Sexton, I don't know if he practiced or not today, but it would be the first time that he had since. And that whole situation, you talk about bad luck, and people are going to say, well, he's hurt all the time, all this, that, the other. There's things that could have been controlled. I'm just going to say it, Parker. Once again, could have been controlled.
Yeah, hey, worth noting in that regard, both Jacob Sexton and Jake Taylor were listed as doubtful tonight, not out as they have been on Wednesdays all season.
Jake Sexton will play in the playoffs
as doubtful. So, yes, I mean those guys. What you would infer there is that they're closer than they have been to being active again.
One of these days, I will tell you how close he was about 6 weeks ago, but neither here nor there. And it was not in his control. I can tell you that it wasn't something that he did. It wasn't something that it is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We have more super chats. Jeffrey Wood, $5. How have recruiting rankings and evaluations changed over the years? How do you think Sam Bradford would be evaluated if he were a high school recruit today?
Sam Bradford, the way they do things now, and Parker's going to probably defer to me on this because I was the one that was around at that time, but Sam Bradford would have been a high 4-star. And not because of his production in high school. His production in high school was really good, but it wasn't like, pop off the page film. But when you look at his intangibles, you look at how great of an athlete he was, because we put such a precedent and such a influence, and what's the word I'm looking for here? We put such a gauge on multi-sports. As good as he was at basketball, you're talking about an AU star. You're talking about a scratch golfer. You're talking about a dude that also was an amazing hockey player, all while being a football player. And at the same time, he's a 4.0 student. He would have been a high 4-star with those intangibles alone. His mobility, just his rare athleticism, all of that kind of bubbled up into what made Sam Bradford Sam Bradford. And at the time, it wasn't looked at. There was only really one service to compete with, and they didn't really have that type of, I guess, format or anything like that to look at as far as how they're going to rank and how they're going to look at it and how this is going to kind of translate into the next level and on. So yeah, he would have been a high 4-star, but that's how it's changed. We really, really take a hard look at, are they multi-sport athletes, or were they a multi-sport athlete all the way up to maybe their junior year? Because that's a really important thing. If they were a halfway decent basketball player or baseball player on top of being a football player, and then they tried and they stopped doing that and they became very, football focused, well, they're going to look back at how good they were during their time of being a 2-sport star, and they're going to say, well, he was this, this, and this. So that's going to translate into this, this, and this when they get older. So that's how it's changed. We really, really take a hard look at that. And then on top of that, now it's not just what is your potential, it's where can you be drafted? Where do we project you out to be drafted? That's where it's really changed. 5 stars are now people you project to be a first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really how it is. So that's kind of how it changed.
And I agree 100% with your assessment on Bradford, because the folks with the most sway in the evaluation process, they do value a multi-sport background. And I think
100%.
as the story goes with Sam Bradford, I believe the story is that there are those of the opinion that contemporaries of Bradford that believe he could have been pro in 4 different sports. Obviously, he did go pro in football, but could just as easily have gone pro in baseball, in hockey, or in golf. And so a dude with that type of all-around athleticism, yeah, absolutely. He'd be ranked a whole heck of a lot higher these days than he would have back then. And I think that's just, people look for traits these days. And more broadly, that's an answer to what the first part of the original question was, which how have evaluations changed over the years? They're much more traits driven than they ever have been. We got another super chat from SS Media, who asked, any chance one of you guys is going to be in San Antonio Friday for the Cibolo Steel versus San Antonio Johnson Jaguars game? Going to be a big game for the San Antonio area. I will be there.
He will.
I'm going to be getting up stupid early on Friday to make that drive. I'll be coming back stupid late on Friday and then getting up early for OU LSU on Saturday. But yeah, can't miss a contest like that. Can't miss the opportunity to watch Markeel McCreary and Jonathan Hatton in action against one another. It's going to be a blast.
If anybody wants to come say hello, I will be at HEB Stadium on the sidelines watching Bo Bentley and his Salina Bobcats take on Decatur. I don't know what their mascot is.
Decatur, yeah, offhand, I don't know either.
I don't know, but that's where I'll be. So if you're in the DFW area, come say hello.
Decatur Eagles, there you go.
Any other super chats? Decatur Eagles, Spencer Forsythe, our producer, he grew up there. So there you go. But he came in there for the rescue. So they were taking on Salina at HEB Stadium right there in Bedford, Texas. So, which is literally 5 minutes where I'm at right now, here in Colleyville, Texas. I guess we haven't even talked about Markeel Ford, by the way.
Yeah, Oklahoma got to commit
That
today.
happened today, by the way. I mean, like, kind of an important thing happened today. They flipped a big time safety.
Big time safety.
SMU. So Brandon Hall, check. God, man, he's good. He's good at what he does. There's not very many people as good as old Brandon Hall when it comes to recruiting. Markeel Ford has had a great senior year.
Yes, he has. Markeel Ford is what we like to call a Nats. No average 3-star.
That is correct. Didn't think of that. That's a good one. Did you come up with yourself?
I'll take the credit, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. I'll give you the credit.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's going to remind a lot of people of. So he's bigger than Billy Bowman. He's not quite as twitchy. Not very many people are as twitchy as Billy Bowman. But he's a ball hawk like him. He's kind of a. Does anybody remember Amarian Robinson? As far as like his film, I know you remember him, but Amarian Robinson's film. If you could kind of piece together intangibles from Billy Bowman and Amarian Robinson, I think you would come up with Markeel Ford, because Markeel loves to hit.
Here's my comment.
Go ahead.
Tell me what you think. I think Markeel Ford is a little bit bigger, more bulked up version of Jaden Hardy.
I knew that's what you're going to say.
I think the play style is very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a lot more physical than Jaden Hardy. But yes, he has the mental capacity that Jaden Hardy, and that's what makes Jaden Hardy good is, and I've been told this by so many people, you talk about the smartest dude in the secondary, that's Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy and Peyton Bowen, you will not find two smarter guys, and Eli, three smarter guys than those three. And I think you could probably throw Gentry Williams in that mold as far as just understanding the game of football and just having instincts. Now, if you're just going off pure instincts, like pure instincts, Michael Boganowski probably has everybody beat when it comes to that. Just instincts as a secondary player because of what he was when at linebacker. But as far as just understanding the game, understanding the down and situation, understanding what's going on and what needs to be done, I would say those four players on OU's roster are the best when it comes to just both together. And Markeel Ford is right in that realm. Super, super smart kid. Super smart, super instinctive. OU fans are going to love him. Love him. He didn't even interview with anybody after he committed. Anybody want to know why? Because, and I'll just go ahead and tell you because it is what it is at this point. Because he wanted to lay low because the team that he was committed to were, and people within that realm and world were blowing his butt up. He wanted no part of interviews. He didn't want to make it any bigger than what it was. He wanted to announce his commitment and get the hell out. And that's exactly what he did. He said, I'm committed. I'll see y'all guys later, Boomer Sooner. And he was done. It was so simple. Nothing big, nothing flashy. Very Markeel Fordish, if you will. Where do you think Oklahoma finishes in 26 as far as rankings go?
My original prediction this spring/summer was that they would wind up somewhere in the 12 to 15 range. I think that's probably where they're going to sit. But if they knock on the door of the top 10 at this point, wouldn't shock me. There's still some dominoes that are yet to fall.
Yeah. You said 12 to 15?
12 to 15.
Yeah, that's probably a good bet. I don't think they get any higher than 12. And look, I think people need to understand that that's okay for this class. Because when you look at how far behind the front office was when they got started, to do what they're doing as far as flips and how good of the players are that they're flipping from other teams, I think that says everything you need to know about what's to come with this recruiting. OU is building a very, very, very solid roster, and a roster that they feel like they can keep and keep throughout their entirety of their college careers. Now, there's going to be guys that they're going to push out and process. That's just the way the business goes now. But the ones that they feel are going to be two deep players at any point in time in their career, they're going to keep. And when you have that type of consistency, that's when you start winning ball games and developing players into the type of guys that fit not just your culture, but your system. And then it translates onto the field. And that's when you start winning ball games, in particular when you have a really good signal caller. And I feel like Bo Bentley is just that. Like, he's a good signal caller. I think he is going to win them a lot of games at some point in his career. And remember, they still have Michael Hawkins. And John Mateer is still going to be around next year as well. So this is going to be a fun quarterback room. Maybe the best OU's had since 2021. 2020, probably 23. Freshman Jackson Arnold was really good. I don't think anybody will dispute that.
Davis Bevel was a member of that.
Sophomore Jackson Arnold, yes. I won't say he's. Say what?
I said with regard to 2023, Davis Bevel was a member of that quarterback room. So
he was the anchor that brought them down. Very, very true. So they weren't 3 for 3. They were 2 for 3. They'll be 3 for 3 next year, potentially, as long as Hawkins sticks around. So, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that. So probably 2021. That's probably your best bet as far as like loaded. I mean, that 2020 team, you got to think about it. 2020, they had Chandler Morris as their third string quarterback.
That's true.
You had elite Spencer Rattler. Your backup was, who was it? Started at West Virginia. Tanner Mordecai. No, SMU.
Yeah, not Austin Kendall, but yeah, it was
not Austin Kendall. Yeah, Austin Kendall came later.
He came before.
Well, came before, but I mean, he played against OU later. That's what I was trying to say. Played against OU later. Yeah.
He played against OU in 2019.
Was it 2019? Yeah, I took that photo too. I have a photo of him, Marvin Mims, and somebody else. Marvin had me take the photo and send it to him. What about this weekend? Are you worried about it at all?
I don't know if worried is the right word. You would be foolish to just Sharpie this one into the win column because we're still talking about the SEC here. We're still talking about a team in LSU that has a ton of talent on that roster. And they can get you if you're not adequately prepared and you don't come in with the right state of mind.
Yeah, they have the best athletes. As far as this is what I was told. Talked to somebody today around the Switzer Center, and they said it's been very, very hard, and not because the players aren't buying into it. They most certainly are buying into this mindset, but it's been hard to continue to pump into them, hey, this is the most athletic team you're going to have played all season, and it's not close. And they keep telling the OU players this over and over and over. And I said, well, why is it so hard to keep pumping that in their head? They said, well, one, they're kids. Two, they've been told that they're going to the playoffs for the last 2 weeks. At some point, that's going to get in 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kid's head. And I said, well, again, why is it hard? He goes, because we have to repetitively do it. They say they're listening. They say they believe it. And they're saying all the right things in the media too. He said, but we're going to find out on Saturday if they truly were listening and if they truly were focused all week. He said, practices have not been bad. They've actually been great. It's just been There is a sense of paranoia in the Switzer Center right now, Parker, and rightfully so. They do not want to blow this chance. This is a pivotal turning point for the program. And I hope fans understand that.
I don't like hearing the words, there is a sense of paranoia. I don't know that's what
No,
that's
no,
what
no. When
anyone
I
would
say
want to
that,
hear.
there's a paranoia of the players getting and listening to everything everybody's saying about them, how good they are. Oh, you've done this. You're going to the playoffs. They're 7-4. They're nowhere near as good as you. In reality, there's an argument to be made that LSU has the most talented roster that they're going to face all season. Now, you go look at the recruiting classes and come back to me. Where those recruiting classes are ranked, they might be the most talented roster. They're like 5, 6, 8, 9, like almost every one of them.
Oh, you did just beat Alabama 2 weeks
I
ago.
understand that, but this isn't Saban's Bama.
For the most part, yeah, it is.
But it's
That's
not.
that's
Like
still
LT Overton.
that's still primarily his roster. That roster is still primarily comprised of guys that he recruited to Alabama.
I didn't say talent. I said athletic. There's a difference.
Okay, elaborate then.
Well, athleticism doesn't always translate to being the most talented. You can be athletic as hell. You can be somebody that can run fast, jump high,
Sure.
be really agile, but you're not as skilled talent as far as the said sport you're playing. And that's where they were getting at. Like he said, this is going to be the fastest, most athletic team at Oklahoma State. And I look, I think from a skill position standpoint, sans Ryan Williams, I think that's a fair statement. When you look at LSU's wide receiver and running back room, they're not great at running the ball, but Caden Durham's a badass when he has a line. He proved that as a freshman and a sophomore. But he's not the same. He proved as a freshman. He's not the same guy as he was last year because he got dinged up and injured. But the program isn't the same. There's something inherently wrong with the program right now at LSU, and that's why they made the change.
They're
So
also really banged up, and that
they are.
obviously plays into Oklahoma's favor as well. Michael Van Buren's starting, their backup quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier's not going to play, but he's not the only one that is going to be unavailable for the Tigers this weekend. We have another super chat from Cole Birdwell who asked, likelihood Neubauer and Jet New are gone after this season. Add Bo Bentley in a transfer? Look, I don't know, man. I don't know. I will say this about Jet New. And I have no idea where Whit Neubauer and or Jet New are or where they're at mentally as far as like being in it at OU for the long haul. I will say Jet New is absolutely one of the most energetic players on Oklahoma's entire sideline every single freaking game. It's awesome to watch Jet New, your fourth string quarterback, bring as much life to the sideline as he does.
Yeah.
And so that's a dude that loves being at the University of Oklahoma. I'll tell you that much. I think if he leaves, it's not going to be his choice. Whit Neubauer, hard to say. I mean, that's a guy that had starting experience last year at Mercer, came to Oklahoma to be the third stringer. You would figure that at some point he's going to want to be the guy again, and that probably isn't going to happen at OU. But he's a nice depth piece for the time being, certainly.
I actually asked that question to somebody just, I think it was not one yesterday, it was the day before. It was Tuesday. Or no, it was Monday, excuse me, it was Monday. And they said, and I quote, I'm going to quote them verbatim actually. Jet New is probably the best locker room guy in the quarterback room, probably the best culture guy in the quarterback room. It's going to be really hard to want to have him transfer. And you have to have those guys. But as Parker alluded to, with Neubauer, yeah, if he leaves, You could totally see Oklahoma go after somebody, and I could think of one person that they would want to go grab. I know for a fact that there are people in Norman that wish they would have grabbed this person the first time around. You know where I'm going with this.
I think everyone does. Yeah.
Bird Ficklin. If there was mutual interest, I think Oklahoma would find the funds to make that work right now. Because I'm going to quote somebody. They want somebody to be the dude after Hawkins 100%. Now, that's Bo Bentley right now, but you need more than one. And that's where they're at. Like, they want more than one person to be able to go at that. And the way to do, you could do that very easily. You could bring Ficklin, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. You could bring Ficklin in, and you could redshirt him and separate him. Then you could bring you could redshirt Bentley, and you would still have them separated to be able to just boom, 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 boom. But in this day and age, nobody's going to do that at quarterback. That's the thing. Nobody's going to do that.
I really hope Jet New is the guy at some point, and maybe he will be, maybe he won't be, but
That'd be fun.
it would be fun. Like, just because I appreciate that guy. I appreciate what he brings to the program. I appreciate that he appreciates the program. And it would be really cool if at some point he were like Oklahoma's Mac Jones, where maybe he's the guy that you look past because he doesn't quite have the same phenomenal physical gifts as some of his compatriots in the quarterback room, but all of a sudden the stars align just so, and he gets a year to go light it up. That would be fun.
It would be awesome because, like you said, Mac Jones is a really good comparison there, an analogy. I just want to see how energetic he is when he makes a play. Like, you could almost see it could almost be like Baker Mayfield-esque as far as like how he acts, swinging his arm around, having fun with everybody, getting crazy. I have a video when Oklahoma stopped Alabama on that fourth down. Jet New is by himself sprinting down the sideline behind everybody. I've showed you the video. He's like jumping as high as he can up in the air, swinging and waving by to the Alabama students and having fun with it. He's just full of life. And as the source told me, you have to have those guys in your locker room. Play or not, everybody loves him. Everybody loves Jet New. So, what do you think Satanga gets to 1,000 yards Saturday? I think he's
on Saturday. No, he will get there. Not Saturday. It would take 175 receiving yards Saturday for him to get there. I don't think that happens. Yeah, but he's going to get there.
I thought he was closer than that. I thought it was like 130, 120. Yeah, he's not getting 170. Cole Birdwell sent another $4.99 as prediction time. Who are the 3 starting wide receivers next year?
Ooh.
I'm not predicting that, man.
I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot.
He's trying to get us to say who we think it's transferring.
I'm operating under the assumption Satania returns. I think it is. And if we're limiting this to what we know, i.e. guys we know are going to be on the roster next year, as opposed to guys we think are going to be on the roster that might be on the roster. So if we're shutting portal guys out of the equation, give me Satania, give me Elijah Thomas, and give me Jermichael Carter.
So no transfers, right?
No transfers. Just what we know.
Transfers would be fun, people. Transfers would be fun with some of the buzz that's going on. Yeah, obviously Satania. Elijah Thomas would be, look, and I've asked about Elijah Thomas for those that There's a lot of people that keep starting threads on our board and stuff like that. Like, why isn't Elijah Thomas starting? Why isn't he getting more PT? Everybody to a man will tell you he's going to be elite. They just said that he is still trying to get his life and his feet on the ground with this whole college thing 100%. It's a lot harder than people think, just because they run such a option route type of offense to where you have to be on the same page as the quarterback and read the defense the same way. It's not as easy as people think for freshmen to come in there and just do that if they've never done that before. But yeah, I'll take Elijah Thomas with Satania. I'm gonna look, if we can't, I'm gonna take a flyer, and I'm going to. Can we have somebody that maybe isn't committed, but we kind of feel is going to commit, be a part of it?
That's permissible.
It's from Jaden Pettit.
Freakazoid.
Yeah. I think he starts. If we're not allowed transfers. Now, look, I'm going to sit here and tell you flat out, and Parker will tell you the same thing. There's a good chance Pettit isn't the dude, and that there's somebody else on the other side that is a big name wide receiver that transfers to Oklahoma and is the starter over there. So there you go. There you go.
Are we done?
Yeah, I'm done. Is there any other super chats?
I think we're done. We're all cut up on super chats. Cryhawk sent us $5, but there was no question attached to it. So thank you. Oh,
Nothing
he asked,
underneath
will
it?
Andy Bass ever be a guy? I think so.
Yeah.
He's just, he's got to get right again, and he's been through a lot with those knee surgeries. But yeah, I'm an Andy Bass believer. I'm still holding that stock.
Yeah, I think at some point in time he will make plays for Oklahoma one way or the other. He'll be a specialist type of play, not special teams, but like somebody that they bring in to do very, very. Oh my gosh, who's the for the Saints that does everything for them from BYU?
Taysom Hill.
Number 7.
Taysom Hill.
Help me out, Parker.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. I think he could be a Taysom Hill type guy for Oklahoma. Just do it all.
It's a fun little
everything.
Comp.
Is it racist comp because he's a white dude too? But yeah, I mean, it's still the best comp you could have for Andy Bass is Taysom Hill. Almost the exact same player, actually. So, yeah. Man, I think that does it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor Sooners YouTube Live. I almost said pregame podcast because we will be recording the pregame podcast after this. So we're not done getting content up for you all right after this. So, but yeah, this is going to do it. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, if you're not subscribed to whatever podcasting platform, please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up. And the new thing they do on YouTube, please hype up this video because it helps us with the algorithm and gets it to more Oklahoma fans. So please, please, please do so. If you are not subscribed to OU Insider, this is the best. Black Friday is coming up. Thanksgiving's coming up. If you have a loved one that wants to be involved and be in the know of Oklahoma football, go over to OUinsider.com in your little URL up there. Type that OUinsider.com up. Click on that green Join Now button, and you can go and sign up for $1 the first week. I think it's $11.99 a month, which is just literally not even 2 Starbucks trips. It's like a Starbucks and a half trip for your drink. There's that. Or you can sign up for a whole year, and it's $1 for the first week. Plus, you get the athletic complimentary on OU Insider and on 3 as well. It is a hell of a deal for everybody. We hope to see you guys over there. We're bringing more content. I am actually in the middle of predicting how the 2026 class is going to finish out and predicting the 2027 class early for you guys. And it's going to be just a big, long thing. It's going to break down all the recruitments. It's fun. I'm probably a third of the way done. I'm going to work on that tonight. I'm going to work on it throughout the weekend and have it up for you guys before National Signing Day. That's why it's perfect to sign up right now. Make sure you go over to OU Insider. You're going to get to know, like, I think on average, not patting my own back, Parker, but I think I've hit probably on 70, I think it was 73.5% on my predictions the last few years as far as like predicting the classes. Now this year was different because it changed with the GM and all that type of stuff. But prior to that, it was like almost nails. So go in there, check it out. We'll see how it goes this time around with 2027, but this will be my initial list, my initial predictions. So make sure you check that out. We're going to have the LSU game covered for you guys, head to toe, front to back. Like anything you guys want to know as far as OU LSU, we're going to have that over for you on OU Insider VIP. We're going to have notes. We're going to have injury notes like we already have up for you guys. What's going on with all the players on the availability list, everything over there, OU Insider VIP. VIP chats going on during the Thanksgiving week. We've got so much going on there over there. So you got to, again, go over to ouinsider.com, click that green button, sign up now for $1 for the first week. Thank you guys so much once again for joining us on this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor Sooners YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. For Parker Thune, for Spencer Forsythe on the board, my name is Brandon Drum. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving.